Hello everyone, a very warm welcome to my weekly update. Well, we are finally at the end of party conference season, so it's been an incredibly busy time for the London team. We've had a stand that we've taken to these conferences that has been enormously successful, really sort of showcasing in a very small area what we are. So this year the theme was to have a glass house, so we had tomatoes in it, we had chilies in it, and it proved extremely popular. And there was also a gator alongside it with a sheepdog, not a real one, but one that could be used in photographs, and all of these things form great backdrops. We were in a lot of the media shots. And the cheese, of course, that was on the stand, huge thanks to White Farms for donating that. Everybody was coming back to the stand, activists picking up a piece of cheese in exchange, I might add, for signing a Back British Farming pledge. But it just formed a great way of having those sort of slightly softer discussions. It's fair to say at the Labour Party conference, I have never known such interest, such levels of engagement. Obviously, a lot of new candidates coming up wanting to engage at a local level, which of course we can do so well through our county advisors, through our group secretaries, and putting people in touch directly with members. So it's a really good place to be, is having a stand at these party conferences. Of course, for Tom and David and myself, we did a lot of fringe events. We hosted our own fringe events, and huge thanks to the many members that came. We are the only farming organisation to have such a presence there. So the traffic through the stand and the enthusiasm to speak to everybody, it's really interesting how that has picked up, particularly this year. I would say there was more interest in talking to us than I have ever known before. And I had the chance to meet Sue Gray, known to many of you, of course, when she was very high up in the civil service and indeed leading a lot of the COVID inquiry, and is now, of course, Chief of Staff to Keir Starmer. So very interesting to meet with her. Had a long catch up with Daniel Zeitner, who we've worked with, as you know, very closely for a long time, and Steve Reed was on the Fringe panel with Tom, and of course Therese Coffey was on the Conservative panel in Manchester with me. So I'm really pleased with how it's all gone. We've obviously got our manifesto up and running, so a lot of opportunity to talk to that. And the stakes couldn't be higher, really. The rural vote matters, and that level of engagement really, really matters. And another meeting that I had this week, which I think was also a sort of stark reminder, really, of what we're up against, with Dame Glenna Stacey, who chairs the Office of Environmental Protection and is tasked, of course, with delivering the Environment Improvement Plan, which was the outcome of the Environment Act of 2020. It's fair to say, you know, she is extremely frustrated that she doesn't feel the SFI was ready in time, that we are a long way off getting 70% of farmland engaged with the Environment Improvement Plan. And it's worth remembering, you know, she has a board of lawyers on the Office of Environmental Protection board, and they have hard and soft powers. And she said to me, you know, we will and we have used the hard powers that we have. And she gave the amendment that, of course, Michael Gove tried to change, that got pulled in the House of Lords on the house building and nutrient neutrality. So it's really worth taking note that what was cross-compliance is now legally binding, and I think we have not heard the last of the Office of Environmental Protection. For us as farmers, I'm really, really conscious of the cost of legislation, the cost of regulation, and the impact on farm businesses, of which we're already reeling from skyrocketing cost inflation at the moment as we withdraw BPS. And I guess I can't not mention this week, for some of you, you will have heard a lot about it. For some of you, you might not have heard anything about it, but Red Tractor have published their Greener Farm commitment. And it's been, I guess, really unfortunate how this has been reported in the press. Indeed, the British Retail Consortium started all of this off last week by putting out a press release unknown to everybody else, which I think has been extremely unhelpful. I've been alongside Tom Bradshaw, Deputy President, having meetings with Red Tractor this week, engaging with the BRC and others, because we absolutely have to make sure that the Greener Farm commitment is going to work at farm level, but most of all, there has to be a value in it. You know, time and time again, I see standards being raised and farmers having to jump through ever higher hoops, and the value isn't there. So what I will be saying to them is we absolutely have to be doing a piece of work to see where the value lies. This has to have time, as much time as is needed to be really consulted on properly by the fully represented technical committees. But, you know, we absolutely have to have our point of difference. What I've just been saying about the Environment Improvement Plan, I look at the price of Irish beef at the moment, you know, that is 70p, 75p per kilo through the summer, cheaper than British. And if we equate that to a whole animal, you're looking at, you know, if we were on an Irish price, we'd be seeing £200 less per animal. We have to keep our point of difference. My huge worry all along with the retailers has been that they will go down a globalized scheme, morph all of the proteins effectively into one, and we will have a sort of lowest common denominator price. That cannot happen. It absolutely cannot happen. We have to have a point of differentiation, because we have these extraordinarily high costs. And that, of course, is why I was so angry with Jacob Rees-Mogg. And indeed, that formed the topic of a lot of conversations at Labour Party conference. So it feels like it's been a very busy, very full-on week on your behalf. But as ever, we keep going and keep doing everything that we can to represent your best interests. So wherever you are on what feels like it's going to be a very wet day, it certainly is here on my farm, please do take care of yourselves. Many thanks.